So now, let us start learning how to make new data go with attributes. So, what we are going to do is the same as before, meaning the data block, but the difference now is that we have a couple of blocks up there to back them up. If you measure the distance of this particular degroot luggage, it would be the same as that of the low windows and 200 by 7400. So, this is too big, and I want to convert it into a data block of size 3334 bytes. Don't you just use my standard, and you can automate this data block as per your comment. So, how do we do that? I suppose what I would do is scale this, but the way it did block scaled down to my requirement. I want the x-axis and y-axis to be there before, and then this is 112 pseudo 11 grade. Before 112 is done. Now you could measure the distance, you would see almost take it for granted. In fact, I want to add that, but this is the way this is going to do. 14643. In fact, I can bring both that wind because that is also very much Quasman, like the block sizes. Okay, but if they draw some wires and do some crossover and think it will work here, like the apple being a suicide or the 1B, do see the definition. Now you see this from $1 either was that coming in up because it is unable to read from the Yanks. And we agreed way good, but in this case, it is the ABC, and they excluded this one. 1, 2, 3. So, how do I just put some value out there? So, what I would do is I brought my dad to Blockbuster, I would delete all these. We did that in the X and Y axis of my data block, like delete those by them. Now I would try to put a value on my X and Y axis. So, how do you go from this setup, right? No, I don't think my growing property is as, but I think that said that this is not good for X. Agreed. See bright, probably because if you go and see my drawing properties here, you can see this is a labyrinth maze. In fact, it should be the base. Now what I have done is take the property of this particular sheet and not take the drug property of the whole product if you want the property for the whole project. How do you go to a product and do you have agreed? This is how you can do that. Now, it's a great find. I know the distance between two. I have already mentioned that the distance between two, I just had to this on exclude was 4.3, I weigh 2.8 quarters, and the like I want to be like this way. I want 1, 2, 3. And what I want the ABC, I would go at this point. Yes. Never. I want to believe yet, but I mediate. I mean, why did this one? You know my FX is this third-party bid that he thought I did in the 8 Salmo. Now back then similarly. Okay, now. Our next extra fittings. I don't know what is it best being in my current draw because this is the customer stumbling block. I don't know of the 50 that bets that the defects up to be the big. If you see that next type, if you don't divide them up, this is going to pay him all this, but this was what mythically for the customer. He was a huge say, but my brain now is too small. So what I would do is I would take the bait at the next height, and if I can find to there that the blind to find them and find brew who is working for now. Again I picked this blind 3rd grade, did twice every day. Okay. Now you see, if it's fake, almost perfect. In fact, if you measure the distance between these two, it would be 4.3. And this is a little bit less. All this will be 4.3. This is what the flop, but if we take you in here, and this is 2.8, this is 2.8, the sense that it's that much of this distance is in B 2.8. Okay, now if I am trying it, why I'm buying. So with that model, how would you 1 BTC? Okay. Now this is coming from 1 cheat, 1 to beat. This is 2 over within these 2, ladies, to do and to be here, to be from number 1 to be the setting. Of course, you can change the settings. I will show you how to say when the setting is going to want to be in. This is all under 2, and this is BB only. If you see, this was A and B to help you get in. Now, one day you should always remember when you did right, you should put the players in while there was a way. I mean, there should be a different lead worldwide. Now the left column is Y. But if I go and a wide here, it is not that this is not Greg Soodle. That is not going to make my drawing. How to bring that lead to go here? Y type. I know here are existing last week. All these players out in the earlier list, and from this every big wire. Okay. Now the wire lead here. And in fact, I want to remove this layer from here. If I don't remove this, what will happen? But let me show that. Now when I'm trying to break away here. Okay. Now that isn't right. Now suppose you do some weird numbers here by the number indoi and driving by. In fact, these usually divide by the number because this is also a player here. This is in Suro layer. Even this is in the lead. So whether the player is in 0 because that is in good or in our wireless. So why are number 3? And in fact, doo-wop numbers really gwine to reflect on those particular players as well. I don't want that to happen. So what I would do is right from this, I would remove this particular Nygaard, remove this by the will, and last before that, I have to go do math. If we want to move this layout, what I would do is go back here at no, I'm unable to remove this last like this. I get removed the class, but this one lab I never removed the class because the before the Delary doodle, if they select one to produce, I will send it. Why make this my default? Now, if I go back and Soodle, I can do more than that. Yes. Okay. Now if you do the right number drawing, that is no white number in these lines for y. This is how you can do. The nominee will be the one you have so that you are the x and y axis references and fit to a lab. Now this is not a block, I will take you to the block. For that, I have to go to block and block, but the drive is not here, I couldn't find draw, so I can find the menu bar. Go here now. Can the dog draw block me? I will with the name DB dyed in black and then I did. I will be the add remove one by one. Surely my name can do that. For the name of the name, whatever you want, or leave the attributes item by going to the 000 by the bay. They were. Now I would think that I thought opening block headed it, yes. Now what happened to my card Letty, so that if A is beholding who has been, who didn't do that? So order notice that the dunce did my lad school. Now why would he make it do a block? Make C be blind like this. Blind lady reviewed the need, but if I am finding the cut and you think they do, then I'm best off now. But this is how you can cut them, I said that the US government. Next, we will learn about the source and destination. Auto began. How to customers those out of state, and how do customers do that in a format that is